Alright, so this is the VW Bug Chronicles. We're back with the 71 Super Beetle. So today's all about brakes. So the engine was running last time I had it going. You guys probably saw that video, so that's good. Still got to fine tune it a little bit, get the air fuel ratio a little bit tuned in because it's not quite where I want it. But anyway, that's something else. At least it's running, it shifts, that's good. So I'd like to take it on the gravel road just to kind of try it out a little bit, but with no brakes, that's probably not a good idea. So I got some Prestone .4 brake fluid, and like I said, today's all about brakes. So first thing off, the way I got it here, it's a little too tight with the wood, so I'm going to get the air pump up the tires, roll it back so I have a little better access to the bleed line or to the bleed valve. Get someone inside, put some fluid in. There's a tiny bit in the bottom. Put some fluid in, have them pump it, bleed the line, and then probably just roll it out here and take it around the pasture just for a quick drive, test out the brakes. But then I may do that, or I may just go ahead and strip the tires off and check the brakes anyway. If it brakes good, then I might just take it for a quick drive. But I mean, at this point, I'm not going to grind the brakes very far, even if I do take a quick drive. Still got to get the wheels off, still got to figure out the brakes. But that is the goal for the weekend. So once I figure out if I need brakes, and I probably will, but which ones I need, then I'll finally make my order on J-Bug, because I need a new ignition switch, I need a new accelerator cable. I'm just going to go ahead and get another clutch cable. I'm trying to think what else. Emergency flasher circuit. Yeah, anyway, there'll be a couple things I'm going to get, but I haven't made that order yet because I can save on shipping, obviously, if I order everything I need one time. So that's that. Also need to patch that tire back there and the front driver's side, but we'll get to that later. Right now we're just going to get aired up, back it up somewhat. I think if I back it up, kind of slopes, it'll kind of bring the front end a little, at least get the front end accessible. And then we gotta get the jack. Yeah, so there's a couple things we gotta get going to get set up, but I'll get to it, and then once I get things kind of situated, bring you guys back in. All right, so I changed my mind. After airing up the tire, I decided it'd be a good idea just to go ahead and take the tire off, patch it, and then go ahead and check out the brakes while I'm there. Besides, I believe it's on this side that I bleed, or is it on all of them? I'll figure it out. So this one here, this wing nut, so to speak, is a little different. It has just a set screw in it that tightens it up. And then apparently this one is righty-loosey on the on the driver's side, and then of course on the other side is lefty-loosey. So I got the set pin out, so let's go ahead and get the socket that'll fit that and get it off. Start with a 1 inch. Oh, wait a second. Nope, can't do that. So I'll have to use like a crescent wrench or a regular wrench. Got an 18. 18 is a little small. I should be using like an inch wrench on this one, but I didn't bring my big set, so I have to use this here. So that's very tidy. Yeah, that comes off awful easy. Let's hope they're all like that. Although with that set screw, it makes it real nice because it doesn't necessarily have to be super tight. So greased up. It's got dirt and all sorts of stuff stuck to it. So we'll have to clean that up just a little bit. So now, get the lug nuts off. Got these socket windows. 3/4, not even close. laminates, so it's pretty good. Probably not going to happen with that one. Let's get a breaker bar. Big boy here. Should probably set it down on the tires, but I think I am going to do that. We'll go ahead and set it down. So there's a little bit of pressure. Oh, too much, too much, too much. Interesting. I was not expecting that. Tore something up too. I don't think I did. Everything looks straight. Well, we'll see if there's a nice coat of grease there, which is good. There's lots of grease in there. It looks pretty clean. So, there's no brakes at all. Get you guys in closer. No brakes at all. Not sure what happened, if they removed them at one point or what. So that's a little bit of a problem. So we definitely need new brakes on this side. All right, let's put the tire back on, check out the other side. Alright, so, sorry I kind of jumped ahead here, but got the tire back on. What I failed to do, dumb me, is check the brake fluid lines to the brakes while the tire was off. It would have been easier, but oh well, I got it turned, so we'll take a look at it. One thing I didn't note is another dumb me, but that's part of being a beginner to some of this stuff, is obviously I should have taken the lug nuts off and popped the tire off, not actually popped the drum, but would have had to do it anyway. And so to actually see if you know what the brake situation is, unfortunately there is no brakes, so oh well. So front driver's side definitely has brakes. Looking in here, the line looks good. This bracket's a little rusty, but it's holding on pretty well, as is this one. The line looks pretty good. I don't see anything major. I mean, there's some rust, and the line is, you know, it's old, so probably end up replacing it eventually, but it does work for now. So you can see it goes in, and then we got the bleed valve there, which is super nice, and I'm hoping that all of them have the bleed valve. So yeah, so let's get the let's turn the steering wheel and check out the other one while we got the front jacked up. Steering wheel is not all the way on, so so that one also has the bleed valve, and the hose looks in decent shape. Although, interestingly enough, this one does not have this one runs all the way down and does not have like the copper, I believe it's copper. No, I'm sorry. Yeah, copper fitting, or the copper hose midway. So that means this is rubbing here. The hose looks decent though. Actually, this hose looks newer than the other hose. Interesting. Makes me wonder if it was done a different time. Still rested pretty good on the fitting though. So, okay, so we're good on the front then. I need to pop this tire off though and see if it even has brakes. guess there's not really a good way of checking that without taking the tire off. So let's go ahead and pop that off. It'd be good to check things out in there anyway. And then we'll get to the back tire. As you saw a moment ago, of course, this tire here has some sort of slit in it or whatever in the seam. So probably just gonna have to replace that, which is not, I was hoping I could patch it, but oh well. Maybe get to use the patch kit down here. Hopefully it's not the same problem down there. Oh well, if it is, it is. So let's go ahead and get this tire off, just like the other one. Check out the brakes, and then probably take a quick lunch break, and then get back at it. Once we check the brakes, I do want to get that back off. Check out the, like I just mentioned, check the where the hole is. Then at that point, I'll go ahead and add the brake fluid, and then have someone, have one of my brothers hop in, pump the brake pedal, bleed the lines, and then yeah, we'll go from there. Of course, if there's no brakes on the back, then we won't be doing any of that. We'll just be I'm not even sure what we'll work on at that point. Oh well, let's get into it. And this one also has no brakes. And this fell in the dirt. That's annoying. Get off a little bit. So, front two tires are gonna need brakes. Oh well. And I'm not sure if I can buy, well, I'm not sure if it'd be cheaper if I just buy just the brakes or if I buy the whole assembly. We'll see. There's not a huge price difference. I mean, if it's, you know, it depends on what it is, but it might be better just to get everything replaced at the same time. Then that way I just don't have to worry about it, especially since brakes are kind of important for day-to-day driving, so especially city driving. All right, let's get this back on. Let's go ahead and we'll get you guys moved over. Let's pop that. Let's I gotta get the jack over there. Okay, we'll break for lunch, and then we're gonna go get the jack over there and do the back side. Not sure if I'll record that unless I find something interesting. If there's no brakes back there, well, I'd say we're probably pretty much done with brakes for the day, and then we'll have to just do something else. Probably start removing the fenders if that's the case, because those need to get cleaned up. I need to redo some of the metal that the headlight hooks into. And then of course start stripping it down, because once the brakes, my plan is once the brakes are done and working, then at that point I'm probably going to start stripping things down, ripping out the upholstery from the inside, getting the fenders off, just starting to take it apart, because I want to go through, strip as much rust as I can, get some of the I forget what it's called. I believe it's a Rust-Oleum product. It's a primer you can put right on the rust that doesn't cause any issues. I want to get most of the rust off anyway, but obviously I don't have a sandblaster, so, and nor do I have the time to go through and remove every stick of rust that's on it. Besides, a lot of it's got paint on it still, so as long as I strip the paint off, we should be in good shape. So yeah, so we'll see. Like I said, I'll check out the brakes. Probably won't show that on camera because it's the same thing we just did. Check out the brakes, and then we'll go from there. Sounds good. All right, so we're back again. It's actually been a lot longer than just after lunch, but so here's kind of where we're at this point. So in synopsis, can't get the castle nut off. Pulled the pin out, the cotter pin out. Don't have the right socket for it. And even the socket and the wrench that does kind of fit it. I do have a wrench that does fit it, but even that wrench, no matter how much torque put on it, and then put a pry bar on the other end to kind of balance it out to hold it down, it won't come out. So yeah, Tried heating it up also, still won't come out. So tried a 35 millimeter. That's not correct. Needs to size up, so I'm gonna have to get a 36 or a 37. A 38 is way too big. So got to get kind of a wouldn't call it a specialty, but not a kit, and actually get a 36 and a 37 to try to get them off, and then hopefully just use an impact drill on it to get it off. So anyway, in the meantime, went ahead and stripped the I believe they call these the skirts, but basically the fenders off of the back. So I did it off that side as well as this side. Of course, I always think the Beetles look uglier when you strip those off, but anyways, it's gonna happen. And then I also went ahead and took the tires off that were flat. I determined that I don't know if I showed that in the other clip, but that the two tires, their issues lie right along the rim. So anyway, I'll take those to a tire shop and get some new tires on them. On the rims, I also need to get some new lug nuts, because not only are these some different sizes, I believe the thread's the same, but the hex part's a little different. I believe they are the same. Let's check real quick. Yeah, they appear to. No, they're the same. So the threads are the same, just not the lug nut portion. So I need to make my order on J-Bug and get some more lug nuts. I don't know if I'll get just all lug nuts for all of them or what I'll do, but I was able to look in the hole on the back side, and it does appear to have brakes in it. The issue is obviously I have to get the casting nut off regardless, so whether I cut it off, break it off, or take it off, it's got to come off. The drums look in decent shape, or at least on the front they did, and then the outsides of the backs here. So at that point, I'm going to keep the drums and just going to change out the brakes. Well, if I'm going to change out the brakes, then I'm considering changing out the cylinders as well, because if I get the brakes in and the cylinders don't want to actuate, now I get to pay more shipping, and the brakes are kind of an important aspect of a vehicle. So I might just go ahead and do that anyway, but it's going to cost me like another $80 or something. Not a terrible amount, but it's still more. And then the front, they had the cylinders, but then none of the hardware for the brakes. So I am going to get new hardware for everything, whether or not I change out the cylinders, new springs and all that aspect. So I may delay on doing the cylinders and just swap out the brakes, just the boot portion of the brakes, and then try that out and see how it goes. The brake on the inside does not pump up and down. It gets locked in a downward position. So I'm not exactly sure. As you can see, when I push it, it stays, doesn't come back. I know part of that has to do with the spring, so I'm ordering a new spring because this one's pretty rusted for the brake pedal. But also, I'm not sure what's happening on the other side in the master cylinder, why it's not necessarily coming back. I don't know, possibly something's loose. I'm not exactly sure how the master cylinder works, especially in a Beetle, so that's something I need to research. So still new to a lot of this. So I'm really hoping the master cylinder's fine, because otherwise it's going to cost me like $120 to get a new master cylinder from J-Bug. I'm sure I can get cheaper other places possibly, but they seem to have it together in terms of their videos and information and products. So that's that so far. So what I'll probably end up doing, maybe take the take the fenders off the front side, and then I don't know. I was really wanting to get the brakes finished, because that was kind of the last. I was wanting to get the brakes working because that was kind of the last aspect of the vehicle I wanted to make sure worked before I start stripping everything down, taking the seats out, taking everything apart, sanding it down, adding primer, all that stuff, actually painting it. But if I can't get to it, well, maybe it's easier after the whole body's stripped off, and at that point I can access the master cylinder a little easier, because looking underneath, it did seem like it was going to be quite a bit difficult to get to it. So yeah, anyway, the other aspect I have to look into is ordering some new seals. because the seals that came off of these fenders here were not in great shape, and obviously you don't want rust building up in between there. That's the reason that this has very little rust. So I also had a couple screws break, or a couple bolts break off in here. You can see that one there broke off in there. So I'll have to drill those out, and then I don't know, I'm not sure if I'll try to cut those out and put brand new ones. I definitely am going to replace all the bolts with brand new bolts, because there's nothing worse than a rusty bolt. So that's going to get replaced. Let's see what else. And I also found the horn, which I didn't realize they put it. I guess I could have looked that up, but I didn't realize they put it on the fender, inside the fender. I feel like it's a dumb place to put it, because that's where most of the dirt gets caked on, but oh well. So yeah, overall, not as productive a weekend as last weekend, but making progress. Right now I just basically need to order some parts. I did take the tires off, I already mentioned that, but I got the two flat tires here, so I'll get those taken care of, and then order some stuff, and hopefully, depending on what the shipping looks like, by next weekend we should have some stuff to be able to do something here. If not, then I'm going to start looking into getting the body off. I'm not sure if I should do it step at a time, do the fenders, paint them, set them aside, and then do each piece at a time, because obviously I don't want, at the point I take the body off, then I'm going to have to tarp it and make sure the rain doesn't hit it, although I do have a little bit of an overhang here. So anyway, making progress. Yeah, so that's all I got for this time. Not as exciting for you guys as maybe last time, but it's part of the project. So yeah, have a great day, and if you have any suggestions or anything, I'm still learning. Definitely throw it in the comments. Subscribe, share, all the stuff that everyone else says, and we'll be back with you hopefully next weekend. Thanks.